Hi, everybody. I'm very happy to present again this topic about globalization, globalizing business, globalizing business. Part 2, globalizing business, part 2. In my previous video, I presented globalizing business part 1, and mostly in that presentation, we explained, or I should say, I explained some key definitions we need to understand and to know very well in globalizing business. And some of those definitions were, what do we understand by international business? Or what do we understand by multinational enterprise? What does it mean foreign direct investment, FDI, and what is global business? Some key terms like emerging economies, emerging markets, which means a developing country. I explain also about purchasing parity, power, and also BRICS, the acronym BRICS. What is the base of the pyramid? What does it mean, the base of the pyramid? I explain also about, expatriates, the role of expatriates, and which we put in few, we abbreviate as expats. And I explain also about international premium, which is a kind of package compensation, expatriates they get when they are doing a business abroad. I will not repeat again those definitions, because if you want to refresh yourself, go to my previous video, Globalizing Business, part number 1. Today we are going to continue this topic about globalizing business, and in few words, and try to finish the topic. And that's why I will be brief and as much as I can, but clear at the same time in presenting this. First of all, last time I talked about base of the pyramid. The base of the pyramid was nothing else, kind of a global economic pyramid. And in this global village we are living in, we have at least 3 parts, when it comes to economy, how rich or how wealthy we are. And the base of the pyramid, the part which is on the base, and it comprises of 5 billions of people, and 5 billions of people who earn, on average, or let's say put it in GDP, or G and I, measurement, whose GDP, gross domestic product, is less than $20,000 per year. In the middle, there's a class, and which it is the middle of our pyramid, comprised by 1 billion people. And this 1 billion of people, they earn between $2,000 and $20,000 per year. So that is the GDP for that category of people. And worldwide, there are only 1 billion. At the top of the pyramid, we have, again, 1 billion, approximately 1 billion people, and whose GDP is greater than $20,000 per year. That we call it global economic pyramid. And this is helpful for companies. They know how to, it is a kind of data which is very helpful for firms to know where, to look for markets, know where to sell their products or their services, and even how to do some strategies they need, so that they can succeed. While we are talking about globalizing business, we cannot forget one of the key vocabulary or key concept in international business. We call that liability of foreignness. What do we mean by liability of foreignness? Liability of foreignness means inherent disadvantage that foreign firms experience in host countries because of non-native status. Inherent disadvantages that foreign firms experience in host countries because of non-native status, because they are not domestic firms. They are not national firms, so they are facing some advantages just because of that. And to overcome the liability of foreigners, firms, they have to develop overwhelming resources and capabilities. That's one of the key secret if they want to overcome the foreign liability of foreigners, and also make good strategies, of course, and work hard. In globalizing business, there is one question which is very important for any multinational enterprise or for any firm, any business, which is going global. Mm-hmm. According to Mike Peng, that question has called a kind of a unified framework. A unified framework. And starting by this question, what determines the success or the failure of the firms around the world or around the globe? What determines the success or the failure of the firms around the globe? You know that either you succeed or you fail. There's no middle ground. Success or failure. There's no middle ground. So now, what will determine your success? What will determine the failure when you are doing business internationally, when you are doing business abroad or globally? And the answer is really summarized in two. First of all, what will determine your success or the failure will depend on what Mike Peng called institutions or institution-based view. So there are only two views. The first view is based on institutions, institution-based view. And this institution-based view briefly is about formal and informal institutions. And formal institutions, according to Mike Peng, are, for example, laws, politics, economics. Politics, laws, economics. Those are formal institutions. Are one of the big pillars of your international business. You have to understand how to deal with those formal institutions if you want to succeed. If you don't do it correctly, then you will be a failure, you will fail. The second part of the answer to the question is informal institutions. Informal institutions are, for example, culture, ethics, and norms. So you have to emphasize on those cultures. ethics and norms. You have to understand how they work. Otherwise, you will fail. So you have to pay attention to formal and informal institutions if you want to succeed, if you want to succeed in host countries, when you want to succeed doing business internationally. That's the first part of the answer. The second one, which is also very important, is resources-based view. Your resources and capabilities. Resources and capabilities. Resources could be tangible or intangible resources. And you remember that the most important resource in any company, in any firm, is human resource. Human resources are very important. Pay attention to that. But we do have also other resources which are tangible, like buildings, cars, infrastructures of different kind. So different resources. You have to leverage your resources in such a way they will give you a competitive advantage if you want to succeed. So to sum up this answer to this question, what determines the success or failure of the firm around the globe, we shall say that those are politics, economics, laws, rules, regulations, and also your resources as a company, as a firm, as a multinational enterprise. Those will determine. But personally, I would like to add something to this framework of Mike Peng. I would say also your management style, your leadership style. So as a manager, CEO, CFO, the president of a company, your abilities as, manager, as a leader will determine the success too. Of course, it doesn't mean that Mike Peng forgot that part of it, because we are talking about human resource. So if you're a manager, you're part of human resource. If you're a leader, which is, I agree with his, unified framework, which he has already put in place. In international business, and when we are talking about globalizing business internationally, we have to explain that those formal institutions and informal institutions, we call them also rules of the game. And which games? The game is international business. We do international business, we do global business by following rules, by following regulations, laws, by following cultures, pay attention to cultures, pay attention to norms and ethics. It is necessary that we play by rules. Another thing I would like to let you know is that when you are going abroad, you should know, you should do your, shall I say, your homework. You should research and know which countries, which locations, which regions are pro-business, which are friendly. I read a book of Mike Peng where he said that, for example, in Hong Kong, they had laws which are very good, which are welcoming everybody, and which are allowing, them to treat even foreign countries, foreign firms, foreign businesses equally like, native ones, or national ones, that treatment, treat them equally, In other words, they try to avoid what we call discrimination. So if you do research and you find a place where they don't discriminate foreign firms, why you don't go there? You know, that's already a good beginning for you, and you are lucky. Because in some countries, they do discriminate foreign firm. In the same book I read, The Global Tree of Mike Peng, I found an example of how India used to discriminate, but that was before 1970s or 1990s, where they put some regulations, you know, or some rules and ask you, for example, if you're Coca-Cola, you know, multinational enterprise, and they ask you, could you give us the formula we are using in your syrup? We need to have that formula and so on. And you know, some resources, some capabilities, some know-how, you know, knowledge should not be shared. Yeah? It is your property, it is your private property, it is your intellectual property. So, but that could be one of the things they used to do to discriminate. But they have already understood that being putting some laws, rules, regulations, which are business, are pro-business, which are friendly, that will attract more FDIs, meaning will attract more foreign direct investments in the country. I think that's all I have for you today. And if you like this video, please share with other people. You can subscribe to my channel, and anytime I post something, you know, you get it immediately. You will be notified. I would like to get your comments too. Comments could be positive or negative. It doesn't matter for me because I know how to exploit. You know, I know how to analyze and make use of them. So feel free. Don't think that you will be offending me by putting something which is negative, because in something negative, I can find something positive from it and I can learn from it. Thank you so much. Talk to you next time. Thanks for listening and watching this video.